Good morning, SMS Band guys. It's Mr. Y, obviously. I'm here today to tell you about something we call Keep It Green. 7th and 8th graders, you guys know about this a little bit, but I am going to kind of go over it in detail for the 6th graders. They don't really know about it. 6th graders, I was going to introduce this actually fairly soon in class before we were so rudely interrupted. So it's actually fitting in pretty well, and kind of, I guess, a silver lining in this whole situation might be that when we do Keep It Green in class, we don't usually have time for everybody to do it. It's kind of a time-intensive kind of thing. And now that we're all kind of cooped up at home, you all will be able to do it. And I'm going to show you how you can do it in just a couple of minutes. Keep It Green basically is a long note contest with the added extra feature of you have to hold your note nice and long, but also with a good sound and in tune. You have to hold it nice and steady and in tune. And the way we do that, of course, is we have to tune up first. Now, if you already have a tuner at home, you're welcome to use it in whatever way you'd like to. A lot of us have the devices now, of course. Most of you have access to that at home. I have on my phone right now 2 tuners. I've got something called the TE tuner, the Tonal Energy Tuner. That one's kind of fun. It's the one that has the smiley face that lights up when you're in tune and that kind of thing. But it does cost money, so I'm not going to recommend it that everybody go out and buy it. If you want to get it, of course you can, if it's okay with your parents. But the one I have found that's online and is in fact free is called Sound Corset. That's SOUNDCORSET. One big word. Okay, it is free. It's available online. It works for all the different platforms. Miss Gouze actually told me about this one because the orchestra is using this one. They've had really good success with it, and I'm liking it a lot too. The more I use it, the more I like it. It looks like this when you first tune into it. Here, it's got a metronome on there too. Excuse me, that's not what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the tuner. This is the tuner right here, and I really like this feature. It's got that little shaded section in the middle. You know, when we had the tuner at school, you were trying to get the dial to light up right in the center. This one's really easy to see. It's got that little shaded part in the center. And in fact, that shaded part in the center is plus or minus 10 cents. The way we measure pitch really finely, really precisely in music is in cents. And just like in a dollar, there's 100 cents in a dollar. In a semitone, that is the space between 2 adjacent notes on the piano, for instance, maybe C and C sharp, there would be 100 cents there too. So it's a really fine gradation of pitch. But keeping it within 10 cents on the tuner should be fairly easy, I would think. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Sound Corset or wherever it is on the App Store. You can find it, I'm sure. You're going to download that. If you already have Tonal Energy Tuner, that's fine, or any other tuner, that's okay too. But like I said, Sound Corset is the one I'm going to recommend. You're going to download that. You have to say that you're going to let the microphone access it, because of course if it can't hear you play, then it's not going to be able to tune you. Then next, you're going to tune your instrument really, really carefully. Now, you guys remember how to do this. If you are sharp on the instrument, you're going to make your instrument bigger. You're going to pull out. So in other words, if you're too much like a flute already and you need to sound more like a tuba, you need to make your instrument bigger. Okay? If you're already flat, that means you're going to push in. If you're already too much like a tuba and you need to make yourself sound more like a flute, you're going to make your instrument smaller. Reed instruments, if you are all the way, of course, pushed in already and you're still flat, that means one of 2 things. Number one, you either have to get a better reed. If your reed is old and gunky, it's not going to be in tune. It's going to be flat no matter what. Or, of course, you could need to play with more air support and with a better sound, with more energy, so to speak. If you're playing wimpy with a wimpy sound, it's not going to be in tune either. It's going to be nice and flat. Okay. So, number one, you're going to tune up, and then number 2, you're going to put your Sound Corset on, and you're going to try to hold this in tune. Now, let me just see if I can demonstrate here. You can see it's actually fairly easy to hold in tune right now. Now, if you don't remember what your tuning note is, let me just kind of go through them a little bit. Concert pitch instruments, flutes, oboes, trombone, euphonium, you guys are just playing an F, the regular, F that's in the middle of your range, middle of the B-flat scale, the 5th note of the B-flat scale. That should be pretty easy. Clarinets, trumpets, bass clarinets, and tenor sax, you guys are playing the G. Again, it's kind of in the middle of the B-flat concert scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that 5th note right there. Horns, you guys are playing a C. Either the low C or the high C is fine, whichever one you'd like to. And for all of you guys, by the way, when Sound Corset lights up, it's going to light up with an F. Sound Corset is going to hear your note in concert pitch. It is a stupid machine, just like machines are. It doesn't know, for instance, that I'm playing a clarinet right now. So you'll notice when I play my G on the clarinet, Sound Corset, of course, thinks that it's an F, because that's what it is in terms of concert pitch. So don't let that throw you. There is a feature you can change that on Sound Corset if you want to, but I don't really think you need to. Don't worry about it. Alto saxes and bari saxes, you guys have a slightly different tuning note. Remember, you guys actually tune on a G, but it actually is a concert B flat. So when you play a concert B flat on Sound Corset, it's going to hear. That would be your G, but like I said, Sound Corset's going to think it's a B flat, and that's totally fine, okay? It is a stupid machine. The idea behind this is do a couple of these every day. I would say between 5 and 10 every day. I'm going to attach a spreadsheet here so you can keep track of it. Time yourself. Okay, keep track of your best 5 times throughout the day. If you want to do it more than 5 times, that's great, but do it at least 5 times a day. Keep track of your best 5 times, write them down, and you'll find that in a couple of days, your sound is going to start to get better. This is, like I said, just a really a more advanced version of long notes. Playing long notes are like lifting weights for your lips. Playing long notes and keeping it nice and tuned is like lifting even stronger weights or even finer weights and doing different muscles on your weights and that kind of thing, I guess, if I want to extend the metaphor that far. But it's a great thing to be able to do to keep your sound nice and steady. Really good thing. Usually, once you work this up, you probably will be able to get between 30 seconds and 45 seconds, I would think. I can usually do between 45 and a minute. That's usually about my best time. Hey guys, Mr. Y again. Just a little addendum to this to show you what I've done with the spreadsheet here. I'm not real good with Google Sheets, so if anybody knows how to fix some of these problems, please do let me know. This is what I've set up here for you. You can see there's a spot at the top for your name. Please do change that to whatever your name is. I will do that here. Now, as you keep track of your times, like for instance on day 1, if I did say, today's the 26th by the way, I set that up. If my first time today was say 32 seconds, and my second time was 45 seconds, and my third time was 24 seconds, etc., it's going to keep track for you here, okay? Now, you can see as I'm putting in my times here, it's computing my average over here on this side. Hey, isn't that cool? These error messages here, because there's no entries in the field yet, it's dividing by 0, and of course mathematically we can't divide by 0, so that doesn't work. If you want to do just 4 every day here, 5 every day here, you can, that's totally fine, or you can do bonus ones and get your average up, that kind of thing. But please do keep track of this. I'll be looking for you to submit these sometime later next week. This spreadsheet right here is just for the next 2 weeks, so we'll keep track of this as we go. Thanks.